Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're excited to be talking about Dream Streets. We're honored to have with us Haley Trusler, Housing Director, and Ernie Rodriguez, Elementary Afterschool Program Coordinator with Dream Streets. How are you two doing?
I'm doing well today. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Well, you all are doing tremendous good. We're going to dive in deep when you talk about food, ministry, shelter. There's so much to unpack, but let's start with a little bit of history. So, Haley, give us some background for Dream Streets.
Yeah, thanks. So Dream Streets, we started in 2013. We were started by Crosspoint Church. We were started as an additional church site there. A few years into that, we realized that the ministry work that we were doing was different than just being a satellite location. So we ended up pulling away and becoming our own 501c3, with Crosspoint being one of our largest supporters. And since that time, we have opened up 2 locations. So we now have one in West and one in North Nashville. The North Nashville one's been open for 4 years. Our mission has remained the same the whole time. We are here to protect and empower those in distress. That looks like a lot of different things. But one of the things that one of our biggest ministries that we do is our mobile food ministry. We have over 10 different sites. We have at least one every day of the week. We're rescuing fresh groceries from grocery store partners and taking it out into the community. And that is really where we meet the majority of our community members. And that's really, and that's how we just know how to get involved and how to get plugged in.
Yeah, carry that forward into some of the stats. When you talk about that piece of it, the rescuing of the food and that piece of it, but also too putting it to good use and feeding so many amazing families and children. And so talk about some of the stats that warm your heart related to the food piece of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Nashville, based on some of the most recent research, 1 in 6 children in Nashville are hungry. That's a really staggering statistic, especially as a former educator, and Ernie is a former educator as well. And so last year, we rescued over 550,000 pounds of food and got it out to over 43,000 people. Obviously, that's nowhere near, the scope of the hunger issue in Nashville, but it is something. And one thing that I know we're really proud of at Dream Streets is that we work to eliminate barriers. When people come to our food sites, they do not have to prove income. They do not have to show an ID. We ask their name, but that is simply for just data collection purposes, their name and number and household. But to us, if they tell us that they're hungry, food is a basic human right. And so we want to provide that opportunity for them. And we also believe in providing dignity in as many ways as we possibly can. So we allow the individuals to shop for themselves. We set the food up kind of like a grocery store. You'll have your proteins here and your fresh fruits over here, and we give them a box and we'll let them know, hey, we have enough protein for each family to have X number. And so then they get to shop for their family and get the things that their family will eat and all of that. So, yeah,
let's switch it over. Ernie, talk about working with the youth, and especially for you both, being former educators, talk about that side of it.
Well, it's a great extension of what Dream Streets had already established. So for us to be able to work with kids, primarily we're working with elementary school kids in the North sector, and we just continue to extend those services to the kids and their families by extension, because we build a good rapport with the families, not only just because the kids are here in the program, but we could also then find out if they have any needs. Some of the kids that we have in our program, then they have siblings, so that we can also find out about what their siblings might need or what their moms might need. So we have a couple of things that we do. We just finished our summer camp program. That's why you see my shirt. So we finished our 8-week summertime program, which was very successful, and which we also were able to work with Delta Dental and the event at First Horizon. But what we did there was we had volunteers, but we provided a day of activities and fun and positive interaction for the kids. We had kids anywhere from 5 to actually 4 to about 15, 16. So we had a wide range. Great representation of the community, and we were able to then give them that positive activity, feed them, which we also do with our after-school program, which we do where we have our kids, we bring them here, give them a positive interaction those afternoon hours after school. But we also make sure that they are fed because, again, we are aware of that food insecurity that is present for many of them. And so we want to make sure that we cover that and take care of that as much as possible. So it's just continuing to extend everything that has been established by Dream Streets from the beginning. And we just continue to extend and hopefully grow and help as many people as we can.
Yeah, carry that into one stat that warms your heart on that side, whether it's, the academic improvement, the character and leadership development. Give us one thing that you have a chance to see firsthand with how it's able to transform the youth and their trajectory in life.
Well, what we see is that these kids are really looking forward to building relationships. And so it's not just a matter of bringing them here and saying, oh, well, we're going to tutor you on something. It's really more a matter of like, we are here for you. And they begin to understand that. And as they see that developing day after day, they develop this sense of trust and this sense of belonging. And then that also extends to their families. I actually ran into a mom yesterday with her 2 kids who have been members of our program, both after school and summer. And, one of the things she says, like, we communicate so well. And so, that's a great thing to hear, that then we're not only helping the child, but we are helping the family. And so therefore we hope that then that continues to help that child in both school, outside of school, and then also the family. Dream Streets does a great job of helping families and individuals through transitions. So we are just another aspect of that. So we see that on a consistent basis. And, when our kids tell us, give us a hug or tell us, hey, they love us, that speaks volumes. That just goes such a long way.
Well, let's switch it up. When you talk about families and helping them through transitions, home is a piece of this as well. So housing, and you do that through a number of different vehicles. You have transitional housing is one piece of it, but you also have home ownership and walking them through that path. And so talk about shelter and home and how that plays a role in helping families as well.
Yeah. I was going to say a lot of times it's those relationships that Ernie and his staff are building with the families, and they'll share that they're in need of shelter or things like that. And then we're able to get them plugged into some of our other programs. So there are 2 components to our housing arm, if you will. One of them is our transitional housing facility. We have 47 rooms here. And the goal of our facility here is to meet people where they are. We are really targeting what we would call the pre-homeless. You're talking about individuals who they are employed, they are working hard, but for some odd reason, probably the rising rents in Nashville, they cannot afford their own permanent place to live. They're living on someone's couch. We have some that are in the shelter and working, but they just cannot seem to find a place that they can afford and get out. A lot of people have an eviction on their record, and so they're struggling to find another place that will take them, but they also need to pay off that eviction. So they come to us and they are paying some rent. Like we said, we do believe in providing dignity. This is their home. They are providing their home. Okay. And so they're living here and they are working with some of our coaches here. And these individuals are sitting down with the mom or dad or whomever, and they are working on setting goals with them, not setting goals for them. It is a joint process, right? We fully believe in buy-in on both sides. So they are working together going, okay, so what is it that's holding you back from permanent housing? Is it this eviction? Is it your credit score? You can imagine it just kind of runs a gamut. And so they together come up with what those obstacles are and work on goals to help overcome some of those obstacles so that these families can get from here into permanent housing. And so that is one facet of what we do. And then the other part, which you were speaking about with the homeownership piece, that is our housing grant program. And so we are working with individuals there who are stably housed, but they are financially unstable. And what we're wanting to do is work with them to get them to a point of financial stability where if home ownership is something that they want, which a lot of them do, it can become an actual tangible goal and not just this pipe dream that they have. So they're paired with a mentor. It's a year-long program. They get a partial rental stipend because, again, buy-in on both sides is important. We have monthly classes. They take a financial literacy class. We're doing consistent budgeting. They're working with a financial planner. We're giving them access to a lot of resources and tools that they haven't been given access to before in order to help propel them forward. And what we are finding at the end of this program is we are seeing every single individual walking away with an emergency fund of at least $500, which is better than 63% of Americans based on last year's data. We're walking away with credit scores going up anywhere from 40 to 75, 80 points in a year. We have over half of our participants walking away debt-free. And a lot of our people are learning to think ahead instead of worrying about just in the moment. They're no longer having to make choices about, do I pay this doctor's bill or my rent? They're prepared so they can pay both. And they're doing this, and most of them are single parents. And so they're doing this, and we're talking a lot about how they're going to change the trajectory for their own children because their children are seeing them making these smart financial moves and learning these strategies that they will then teach to their children. So, I don't know. It's just a really rewarding program.
Yeah, and that's part of the generational change too, right? Is when you see that in the stable housing and being able to plan ahead versus in the moment, it changes for generations, your family. So one more program, and then we'll talk about how the community can get involved and help, is touch on the job readiness program.
Yeah. So our job readiness program, that's run by our community counselor. This is for men who are either unemployed or underemployed due to something in their background. It could be trauma. It could be justice involvement. There are a lot of things it could be. But this is a program that partners with the transitional housing facility. The gentlemen who end up getting accepted into this program, they are working with their counselor on soft skills as well as job-specific skills to help them to get full-time employment. We want them to have a part-time job when they start, but they will work with him a couple classes a week, resume building, conflict management. You name it, it's probably going to be in his curriculum. But while they are doing that and working part-time and doing some other components of the program, they are able to live in our housing facility because we want to make sure that shelter is not a barrier to them participating in this program.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about how the community can get involved and support your efforts. You alluded to earlier Delta Dental of Tennessee, the Kids Dental Day and Shoe Distribution. And, so when you talk about these sort of community efforts to plug in, but also for corporate support, organization support, individuals, obviously, touch on upcoming events, touch on ways the community can get involved.
We are going to be starting our after-school program once again in September. So we really rely on volunteers. As I said, we have the program here, but it really only goes if we can have volunteers. And we've been very fortunate to have Hands On Nashville be one of our great partners in helping us find volunteers. But we just take volunteers from anywhere. We've been fortunate that from all universities, Belmont, Lipscomb, TSU, Fisk, you name it. And even some high schools, they students who need service hours, but they have found about our program. And once they come, it's great because it only takes really one time for them to come, and then they're hooked. And so we're very fortunate in being able to have that participation. And again, the event at the First Horizon was so fantastic. It was number one, joyful. The kids that we took, they were so happy and getting the new shoes and that dental care, which is so key. It really was just a well-run event, a joyful event, and we were just so happy that we were included. So we need to continue to have those types of connections and events for our families because, again, they really do rely on these things. As Haley said, they're going through different transitions. So any helping hand that can be provided, we want to provide it. We're having our after-school program. Volunteer. Our hours are going to be from 3 to 6, Monday through Thursday. It's really not a heavy lift. It's all about coming here and connecting with the kids and enjoying some of the activities that we do, join in with them. We're hoping to have yoga this year. We're hoping to, of course, have some music, art. some chess that we started last year. So we tried to give them a wide palette of things to do. And at the same time, when you're a volunteer, you get to participate in all those things. So, by all means, reach out to us or through Hands on Nashville. We're here and we welcome and we really do need those volunteer services.
Yeah. And can't they find it also at the serve portion of our website as well?
They do,
Yeah,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, they just connect directly to Dream Street. So there are different ways of connecting, or hey, if you run into me, I'm going to ask you to volunteer. So, there's different ways that we're going to try and get volunteers here to help us.
Yeah, Jeremy, that's at our website is dreamstreetstn.com/serve. They can also find it there. We've got other volunteer opportunities, but after school should be plugged in on there as well.
Yeah, and speaking of the website, you also have the events and tons of ways to support. Touch on a few of those, Haley, in terms of just big events that people need to have on their calendar and other ways to financially support, obviously, your efforts.
Of course. One of the big things that we're looking for right now are housing sponsorships. As I said earlier, we have 47 rooms in our housing facility. Each one has a fair market value of $900, but that does not include utilities or any sort of maintenance and upkeep, which we do know has to happen every month. Now, our people do pay some rent, but we really want to make sure that it's something affordable for them. So we aim to keep it around a third of their income, since that's the truly affordable marker. But that means that most of them are not paying close to that $900 mark, which then means that we're paying that. So we're really looking for sponsors to cover the monthly cost of a room for a year. So what that looks like is $1,000 a month, because that would, account for utilities and maintenance. So we're looking for sponsorships of $12,000 a year. Now, we are flexible in that if people go, well, I can't do $12,000 on my own, but you have a couple friends who could get in with you, and then you guys could come in jointly to do that. That's fine. Businesses can come in and do the sponsorship, but that's what we're looking for. Currently, we have 10 rooms sponsored of the 47, so we're obviously looking for more. And that's a big way to get involved with housing. Otherwise, we have two big events coming up. One is a golf tournament on September 22nd. I think we still have 4 teams that we're needing. It is $250 per person or $1,000 per team. It's going to be really fun. It's out at the Hermitage. I'm not a golfer, but it's beautiful and I always have a good time when I'm there. So, and then we have our Golden Gala, which is November 7th, and tickets go on sale for that event September the 1st. And that was a lot of fun last year. We had we had a great live music band and dancing. It was really fun. So, and all of those can be found at our website on the events page.
Yeah, and so you never can say it enough in the world of media. Mention again, website, social media. Where do we go to learn more and get involved?
Yeah, at DreamStreetsTN. That's our handle on Instagram, Facebook, all the things. And our website, www.dreamstreetstn.com.
Well, Haley, Ernie, thank you for all you and your amazing team do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.